On today's video, we're taking an in-depth look into something that mainstream media does not want you to see. Be sure to watch until the very end, as you'll definitely want to see all of this. In an absolutely shocking turn of events, the battleground state of North Carolina has just decided that 10% of its registered voters are ineligible to vote. For context, the state has removed 750,000 names from the voter rolls, including 130,000 dead people and 290,000 registrations that were duplicates, according to this tweet. Now, funny enough, these names have been removed over the course of 20 months, which means they still don't include the 250,000 voters who, according to Republicans, have been registered unlawfully. Yes, you heard that right. In addition to 750,000 fake voters, the Republicans have claimed in a recent lawsuit that there are close to 225,000 registered voters who do not qualify to vote in this highly contested swing state. Now, even though they've already removed 750,000 registered voters, the State Board of Elections still does not want to admit that there's a problem in the system.
State and national Republicans are suing, trying to get about 225,000 people's names removed from the voter rolls. They say those people registered without providing identifying information required under federal law, such as a driver's license or the last 4 digits of their social security number.
Instead, they criticized GOP leaders for filing a lawsuit based on what the board called categorically false allegations about the potential for voter fraud. So we're supposed to believe that in a state of 10 million people, that there was nearly 1 million illegal voters, and you still don't want to believe the possibility that there could be election fraud. Got it. As you can guess, people are not blind, and I totally agree with this person's tweet, which states, when an election outcome can be the difference of only 10,000 or 20,000 votes, and 750,000 get removed due to discrepancies, that's statistically significant. And that's so true. Just consider what happened in 2020. Trump only won the state with a margin of 1.34%, and now we find out that 10 to 15% of the registered voters today are not eligible to vote at all. Look, you have to understand that people will accept whoever wins with open arms as long as you don't make a fool out of them, and right now that's exactly what's going on. But the situation in North Carolina isn't even that bad. At least they removed most of the illegal voters. In other states, things are much worse. Just look at this. Michigan likely has close to 2 million people in a state of 10 million. However, there will be no purging of our voter roll. We have around 700,000 more registered voters than we have voting age residents. Now, seeing this straight up sent me down a rabbit hole that seemingly has no end and leads to some very shady places. For instance, let's just take a moment to dissect this claim about Michigan, which is another very important swing state. According to the latest survey, Michigan is home to just about 10 million people. According to the state website, Michigan has nearly 8,418,000 registered voters for the November election. Another credible source says there are 21% of folks under the age of 18 in the state. Now, math might not be my strongest subject, but a little easy calculation tells me that there are approximately 2.1 million people in Michigan who are just not old enough to vote. That means the total number of registered voters cannot be more than 7.9 million. So, even if every citizen who is 18 or older got registered, which is highly unlikely, the state still has nearly 500,000 registered voters who are just unaccounted for. And that is way too many unknowns in a swing state where either of the candidates can just squeak out a win. And yet no one will talk about it because that would justify the Republican stance that elections can be rigged in our great country. And things don't just stop here. In Wisconsin, where Biden won in 2020 with a margin of just 0.63%, absentee ballot drop boxes are still around, even though Republican votes have been protesting against them since 2020. As a result of this, more than 60 small towns in this swing state have opted out of using these drop boxes. And now that a mayor was seen moving one of these ballot boxes, the entire state situation has become even more controversial. However, the main question that we need to answer is why we are using these ballot boxes in a state where many people simply do not want them. Well, it's happening thanks to a ruling by the Wisconsin Supreme Court that barred most ballot drop boxes 2 years ago. And thanks to this ruling, concerns about the legitimacy of the election have only gone up in a state that was already under heavy scrutiny.
What's unique about this request, though, is it's the only way to get an absentee ballot without having to show an ID. Yet this cycle, for some reason, there are over 200,000 requests and ballots cast under the indefinitely confined ballot status. So it's, I think, a pretty clear sign of some illegal activity. That is, I think, grounds to deny certification to that state.
Moving on, let's now talk about Oregon, where a DMV data error registered 1,259 non-citizens to vote, and 9 of them even ended up voting. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but you gotta understand, this is a very big blow to Democrats who have been adamant that there is absolutely no way for non-citizens to vote. Well, it turns out they can as long as the system is not good enough to stop them. Now, according to state officials, the 306 non-citizens registered to vote had presented foreign passports that were marked as U.S. passports. The other 953 people who were wrongly registered to vote had presented foreign birth certificates as proof of ID. Now, what's really surprising is that no one would have realized that this was happening if a nonprofit hadn't filed a complaint about it.
The media reported an audit occurred because of the questions raised by a third-party organization.
As you can see, there's some glaring flaws in the system, and we've only scratched the surface here. We're going to explain all the ways elections can be stolen in an upcoming video, so be sure to stay tuned. For now, let's take a look at another huge scandal coming out of the great city of New York, whose mayor was just indicted for corruption after a federal investigation making Mr. Eric Adams the first sitting mayor of New York who has been officially charged for federal crimes. Now, the list of alleged offenses committed by the mayor is very long, and I think we should let the U.S. attorney tell us what crimes were allegedly committed by Mayor Adams.
In which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal. And even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions. These benefits included free international business class flights and opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities.
As you heard, the mayor not only accepted funds from the Turkish government, but also received benefits such as free stays in 5-star hotels and resorts and free travel via Turkish Airlines.
We just list it all out here. You see the year, 2016, 2017, 2017, 2018, 2019, the destination, India all the way to Ghana, the benefits, the free upgrades or free tickets altogether, the hotel stays, and the value. And if you just sum up all the dollar amounts here, you get to more than $100,000. And of course, as I said before, every single trip that we list here was undisclosed.
Now, the prominent Democrat has been in trouble before. He was accused of holding 14 meetings in a month in an Italian restaurant which is owned by 2 convicted felons. He was also criticized for employing his younger brother Bernard as the head of his security detail, but he was able to weather all these storms thanks to his image of being a progressive Democrat. The mayor has responded by saying that his tough stance on illegal immigration has made him a target, but he's going to fight these false allegations raised by his political opponents.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies. But they would not be surprising. I always knew that if I stood my ground for all of you, that I would be a target, and a target I became. I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit. If I'm charged, I know I'm innocent. I will request an immediate trial so the New Yorkers can hear the truth. I have been facing these lies for months since I began to speak out for all of you and their investigation started. Yet the city has continued to improve. Make no mistake, you elected me to lead this city, and lead it I will. I humbly ask for your prayers and your patience as we see this through. God bless you.
What's really interesting here is that President Donald Trump predicted this would happen. Yes, Trump said he knew this was going to happen because the mayor did not agree with the Democrats' immigration policy.
Because that's what we have. We have people that use the Justice Department and the FBI at levels that have never been seen before. So I wish him luck. I don't know anything about what he did, but I told a lot of people right over there, that group was saying, sir, you were right about that. And I said, he will be indicted.
We don't know what's going to happen to the mayor, but it's very suspicious that the only major Democrat who opposed illegal immigration is getting indicted just before his re-election. I guess that's the price you pay for stating facts. That's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. A lot of you have reported being magically unsubscribed, so please double check. As per usual, I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.